I felt like I had to write a song, let's try to have capitalism with a conscience, you know what I mean? Let's try.
For decades, Bob Seger was the voice of the American heartland, the man who turned everyday struggles into unforgettable rock anthems.
My troubles all away on our bed.
With songs like Night Moves and Against the Wind, he spoke to working people across the country. But behind that humble, blue-collar image was a fiery spirit, one that clashed fiercely with the changing tides of the music industry.
He's probably not lying. We were all arguing about what our band name should be, and I was kind of letting the band.
From disco dancers to slick record executives, Seger had no patience for anything he saw as fake or soulless. Tonight, on StarLoop News, we uncover the real story behind Bob Seger's hidden rivalries and how his fights helped define the true soul of American rock. Bob Seger's first and fiercest war was against disco. To him, the rise of disco in the 1970s was an insult to everything rock and roll stood for. While disco artists celebrated glitz and glamour, Seger sang about real people and real emotions. When his gritty anthems were pushed off the radio to make room for dance beats, he was furious. He called disco assembly line music, built by producers in suits rather than musicians with soul. From that moment, Seger doubled down on his raw sound, live bands, real instruments, and zero studio tricks. He wanted to remind America that music wasn't supposed to be perfect, it was supposed to be honest. Then came punk rock, and a new kind of rebellion. But Seger saw it differently. While punk bands bragged about their raw attitude, he believed they lacked craftsmanship. "You can't build a legacy on 3 chords and anger," he once told a friend. Critics loved punk's chaos, but Seger saw it as destructive, not inspiring. So he fought back with songs that celebrated unity, hard work, and the spirit of everyday people, not just rage and noise. Even fellow rockers weren't safe from Seger's fire. He had a complicated rivalry with the Eagles. He admired their early country roots but despised what they became: polished, corporate, and rich beyond recognition. To Seger, they were proof that success could corrupt artistry. When Hotel California topped the charts, he called it corporate rock pretending to be rebellious. It only fueled his mission to stay grounded, no matter how famous he got. But perhaps his most personal rivalry was with Bruce Springsteen. On paper, they were musical twins, both singing about blue-collar America. Yet, critics began comparing them, often favoring Springsteen's poetic lyrics. That stung Seger deeply. He believed his stories were more genuine, born from lived experience, not imagination. The two rarely spoke publicly about their tension, but those close to Seger said it pushed him harder, making his performances more powerful and heartfelt than ever. Then came the 1980s, and with it, MTV. Seger loathed the rise of image-based pop. To him, the new wave of pretty boy bands and glittering videos turned music into a fashion show. He refused to chase that trend, insisting that real musicians don't need costumes or special effects. As MTV ruled the airwaves, Seger proudly stood his ground, proving that authenticity could still fill arenas without a single flashy gimmick. But in the end, Seger's biggest battle wasn't with other artists. It was with the record industry itself. He fought executives who tried to mold him into something more commercial. They wanted hits, he wanted honesty. For decades, Seger waged a quiet war behind the scenes, fighting for the right to make the music he believed in. And through that battle, he became more than just a singer. He became a symbol, the last true defender of rock and roll's soul. Bob Seger may not have always played nice, but he never betrayed who he was. His fights, his anger, and his pride were all part of one simple truth: he was real. And in an industry built on illusions, that might be his greatest victory. This is StarLoop News, where we bring you the stories behind the legends. If you love uncovering the real lives of rock's greatest icons, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and ring that bell so you never miss a story.